Hey everybody, this is Rex. He is our cover model for August, and this is a time where you get to know about his story and also why we chose him. Missy and I, we've been looking for a male for a while, and we wanted somebody that didn't just, the whole magazine is never focused on what somebody looks like. It's actually focused on the story, and this is the part where you get to know more about Rex.
This month we're actually doing something a little different, where not only are we going to give you a little bit to read about him, but we really want you to hear his story from himself. So I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to get to know Rex, and then I think you'll understand why we chose him to be the cover model of our August issue.
Okay, so Rex, at this point, take us back to a little bit about your story in high school.
My biggest thing was I was kind of a quitter. Kind of quit on myself a lot. I used to be a pretty good baseball player, and I quit playing baseball when I was a freshman, and quit playing football when I was a junior, and I quit playing basketball halfway through my senior year, and I ended up quitting high school altogether, dropped out of high school, and got a job right out of high school, and I had kids at a young age. I had 19 years old, and so
What was it that brought you back to graduate?
To go to college.
Well, to graduate from high school, because you did drop out.
Well, I went and got my GED, and was working a job trying to provide for a family, and realized, how important school actually was. It took me a long time to realize that and grasp that, and that's kind of what took me back to wanting to go back to college. And
so not only did you do great in college, but just brag on yourself a little bit, because here you come from a high school dropout, and then when you decided to go back to college, you didn't just go back, you actually really excelled.
I did. I graduated with honors, and I played 4 years of college football and 2 years of college basketball. And
so you stuck with it that time.
I did. It's funny because I get people to ask that all the time, like, what was the difference? Like, what was the difference? I didn't gain any more intelligence. I didn't, it wasn't, the biggest thing I tell everybody is it was my priority. I went up there with the family, and I couldn't fail. Like, they needed me, and I feel like I had to go be successful for them. And so the difference I tell everybody was, in high school it wasn't my priority, and when I went to college it was my priority. I ended up graduating with honors and actually got to speak at my college graduation and stuff. So it was,
I love that.
It's a good experience.
So cool.
I love that. Okay, so where along the line did a coach kind of mentor you, where you decided what you wanted to do for a career?
Sports has been such a big part of my life, and I've had so many good coaches along the way that impact you, sometimes more than like your own father does. Not that, I tell people this, the best coach I ever had was my father, and it'll get me emotional. But yeah, he's a big part of everything for me. My grandpa was a huge part for me. Played for the San Diego Chargers. Back then they were called the Bombers. And police officer for 30 years. Coached for his whole life, and dedicated his life to giving to others. And kind of my childhood hero growing up as a kid. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I didn't want a lot of kids to make the same mistakes that I did, and that's why I became a teacher and a coach, hoping that I could hopefully help a kid in the right direction.
As parents, Missy and I, and Rex is a parent too, that's exactly who you want spending the majority of your child's life, is somebody that actually really cares about not only the present but the future, and to have someone like Rex that will
mentor you on the court and off the court, life lessons.
Will direct you in a way that gets you motivated and excited about life. Okay, so now Rex, take us to when you decided that you're going to actually be a coach to kids.
It's started a long time ago. Even out of high school, I was coaching kids. Going through college, I coaching baseball up there, helping with basketball. It hit that point in your life when you're halfway through college where you realize, okay, what do I want to do? And my brother was there with me at the same time, and he was going a business degree, and we talked about, financially and money and stuff like that. And he actually gave me advice. He says, do something you're passionate about, something that you want to do for the rest of your life. And for me, that was sports, and helping kids and working with kids. And so that's why I chose coaching and teaching.
Okay, so you coach middle school girls and guys basketball?
I did high school for 3 years out in Idaho, and then I came to the junior high actually in Utah, and I do football there, and then boys and girls basketball.
Can you imagine all those little girls going, oh, Coach Rex, I'm gonna sign up for basketball.
We've never had this many people on the basketball team.
He's like, girls, 100 of you take a seat. Okay. One of the things that impressed me about you that I really want to talk about, here's how I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but in relationships, men or women go through the same emotional struggles. It's not, I mean, we all have pain, right? We're humans, we have pain. Rarely do you find guys that will talk about it or that will actually have ways that it has affected them. So you are a single dad. And at one point in one relationship, you weren't as in great shape as you are right now. Is that a good way of saying it?
That's accurate, yes.
Okay, so what got you there, and what got you to where you're at the healthy state you are now?
So I was married for 12 years and went through a divorce. Unfortunately, hardest time of my life by far. You know, we get along great actually now, and she's remarried, and you know, and so we get along good dealing with kids and stuff, and so it's a good scenario for them. After the divorce, about a year and a half later, I met somebody and was with them for about 6 years. And that's kind of where I started to decline as far as got out of shape, and you know, health-wise wasn't my best, and her and I mutually ended a relationship after about 6 years. You know, very appreciative of her time that she, you know, we spent together. She helped me raise my kids for 6 years, and likewise, and you know, definitely a challenge for single people trying to raise other people's kids, and you know, it's rewarding though at the same time. And but when she left, I kind of went on a mission of getting back to being in shape and working hard, and so I lost quite a bit.
If you're seeing the image, exactly how much weight did you lose?
My heaviest I ever got to, so I played college ball about 250, but that was good weight. And I got about 265 was my highest. And I actually got down to about almost 205, almost too skinny. Got down to about 205, so
wow.
I was about 60 pounds.
60 pounds. See, guys go through the same thing when you're in a healthy relationship or you get stressful. And how'd you take it off?
Just eating right, honestly. I was probably addicted to Mountain Dew a little bit. You know, it just started with baby steps and kept getting better and better, and get to the point where
I think the biggest thing with any change that we make in our life is actually making that commitment. And that commitment doesn't come from doing it for somebody else. You do it for yourself.
For sure.
If you've got some words of advice or anything that you'd like to tell people that maybe are, you know, have a struggling kid or themselves are not feeling like they're doing what they want to do in life, or have weight issues, or things that you've been through, what would you advise them?
You know, the biggest challenge is just, and as a parent, it's hard sometimes. You just keep loving them. You know, I talked to my daughter. My daughter struggled in high school, and she almost didn't graduate. And I told her, I says, I'm not going to quit on you. And said, you may not like me now, but you'll thank me later. And I said, I'm not going to quit on you. You're going to graduate. And so for parents, you know, just keep fighting. Sometimes it's hard. They get to that age where it's, I give up, I'm done. You know, fine, go learn for yourself. It's one that I just didn't want to do. So
I like that. It doesn't matter if you don't like me now. You're going to thank me later. I think more kids need to hear that from their parents, and not to have them be so worried about what they think of their parents, or having to have that friendship relationship. Sometimes you actually have to, you know, let them know that you're in it for the long haul. You're not going to quit on them, and that means that they can't quit on themselves.
Well, and I'll tell you what, as a single dad, you kind of learn that. You learn what's important in life, and my kids are my life. I mean, I go to activities constantly, to Salt Lake, to Idaho, traveling all over the place, and it is by far my most favorite thing to do in the world, and just to be able to support my kids and be at their activities, and you know, you hear so many single dads that aren't a part of their kids' lives, and it breaks my heart for those kids and for the dad, you know. And I don't know how people do it. I really don't. I can't imagine, especially being a single dad. That's the biggest joy you get. You don't have anybody else in your life except for your kids, you know.
So now do you kind of understand why we chose Rex? I mean, he is a little pretty, right? We do give him that. But I think the biggest thing that Missy and I were impressed with Rex is, you do put your children first, and then you give back to other people's children. And as parents ourselves, we couldn't ask for anything better from a teacher and from a mentor and a coach. On behalf of the Beauty Battalion Rex, we want to thank you for being our August cover model.
And all you probably want to do is give him a hug. We'll give him a hug for you guys. So thanks, Rex, for being a part of the journey with the Beauty Battalion.
Thank you.
Wait, we didn't get that shot, did we? No, we didn't get it. Missy, come back there. Do it again.